I am currently rushing to the vet with my, I think he's about 8 days old, calf, Elliott Smith, in the back of the pickup truck. It's been a very scary day, but I'm taking him to the vet and I'm hoping I can get him help. But to be quite honest with you guys, I'm not sure what's wrong and I'm not sure how this one's gonna end. Come on, buddy. He's dying. Pretty sure he's dying. Come on. Here you go. Come on. Come on, buddy. Stay safe. It's a little ride. It's now about 45 minutes later and we're almost at the vet. The vet's like an hour away. I'm really worried. I haven't seen this calf stand up once the entire ride from the farm, which is really, really alarming. What I would expect for normal calf behavior would be he'd be very scared and apprehensive and probably at some point try to escape, and he's done none of that. So by the time I pulled into the vet parking lot, I was worried that I was gonna look in the back of the truck and see Elliott, the calf, already dead. Still lifeless. But he fought through and he hung in there. Doctor was really stumped because, again, there was like nothing obvious. Doctor ruled out a lot of the same things I did. Didn't look like pneumonia, didn't look like scours, didn't look like a lot of the things that typically will hit a calf like in the first couple of weeks. It's okay, buddy.
I'm so sorry. I wish it was gonna be easier, but I don't think it's looking good.
He was worried it was like potentially like a genetic thing or some sort of neurological thing or something that like happened in utero, but just not like a normal like kind of calf illness. We got the blood worked up for him. The doctor also got an IV drip in there and started that on him as well. But the entire time he was there, he was as lethargic as ever. I've never seen a calf act like that. I didn't have to restrain him when we put the IV in. There was no need to keep him in the crate or anything. The one thing the doctor did see with the blood work was does have high levels of inflammation, which could potentially suggest some sort of infection. As the IV drip started to go with the fluids, the doctor also decided to put him on some antibiotics. They're gonna hold him overnight and see what happens, and they'll be checking back in with them first thing in the morning. But I don't know, I just feel so powerless. And I'm worried, and I'm almost a little bit resigned. Sometimes this just happens. That is the hard part about having a farm. You can have glory, like the other day when I got to witness the birth of Annabelle's calf, and everything works out perfectly, and it just feels like magic, and it's just, I don't know, it puts so much like wonder in your heart, and you realize just how incredible the world is. You have days like today where, when I got out there this morning and looked at Elliott, I noticed he looked a little bit sluggish. He looked fine last night. He was totally normal last night. The last video you guys saw was recorded earlier this morning. And when I was looking at him then, he looked like a little sluggish, nothing too crazy. I woke him up from sleeping. He got up, walked around. I saw him drink milk from his mom. So all of those things are very, very normal. By the time it was lunchtime, he was definitely slow and sluggish. Yeah, that's when I called to set up the first appointment. And they offered me an appointment 3 days from now, which I was like, okay, if that's all you got, I'll take it. When I went out to check on him a couple hours later, it was clear that he was going quickly, and that's where, you know, he could barely stand up on his own. When the footage I shot to send to the vet, like, you can see he's like on his back legs, but he can't even walk on his front legs to go drink milk from his mom. When I took him away, you know, Annabelle, she was not concerned, almost like, you know, typically whenever I mess with the calves, the moms, they know me, but they'll still give me the hairy eyeball and be like, hey, what are you doing, buddy? And I don't know, there was something weird about her behavior, because she didn't seem concerned at all as I picked up her calf and carried him out of the corral and into the truck. There was no concern or issue there, and so that has me worried. Like, maybe she knows something we don't. Now, I know that there's going to be some folks out there who are watching this video and asking, wait a minute, why are you even recording all of this, and how would you do something like this with a camera going? And let me try to address that right out of the gate. Number one, given the nature of my farm and given how frequently I make videos, I've just come to learn that I always should have at least one camera ready to go in the mudroom and fully charged and with a fresh SD card. And so that's pretty much what happened. And so the minute the vet told me to bring him in, I just ran down to grab him, and I grabbed the camera while I went through the mudroom. So it's not like I'm like taking extra time to get everything all set up. And then number two, I don't know, guys, this is gonna be a weird, awkward confession, but I think for me personally, when I have situations like this, I handle them better and I process them better when I'm like making a video or telling a story about it and trying to capture what's going on. And yes, usually I try to focus on telling stories about scars rather than wounds. And sometimes it's hard to tell a story while it's actively unfolding, but that's where I get the miracle of being able to edit this video. All ducks go to bed! All ducks go to bed! All ducks go to bed!
Oh, Bean, you're so far out here by yourself. You're going the wrong way, girl. It's okay, sweetheart. Come on. That's Bean, our blind duck. Why are you always so darn broody? Don't attack me, please. Come on. Get out of here. Out. I'm taking the eggs. That's just how the deal works. You get food and shelter, I get eggs. How you doing, Annie? So this is Elliott's mom, Ann. Whoa, don't whack me with your horn, please. I know I took your baby, and I know you probably want to get milked, but I know you're not going to let me milk you. Gonna have to suffer the night. We'll see what happens tomorrow. Like I said, I think you already knew something was up. Hey, little baby prince. How's it going, buddy? How are you doing? Whoa, 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 whoa. Whoa, Annie just went right for me. I was petting Prince. No, it's not your calf, Annie. It's not your calf. Neither is that one. That's Annabelle's little one. Hey, Annabelle. And then she's going around looking at all the calves, wondering where's hers. It's actually a really sad sight. Hey, Baby Belle. You guys see how Baby Belle scampering and jumping around? That's kind of how you want a calf to be. That's totally normal. Got mom chasing after her. That's not unusual at all. What we were seeing out of Elliott, that's a little bit more concerning. But I guess we're gonna have to wait until morning to see what happens.
Good morning, good morning.
Hey there, I just saw I missed your call. I was just finishing up chores here.
Remarkably, calf is both alive and looking brighter
Wow.
yesterday. Just had some pretty nasty stool. He's definitely poorly, but he's holding his head up. We can kind of continue to hospitalize him, or if you were to come get him and try and get him back to mom, I think that's worthwhile too.
Because I can kind of see the argument for either side of it. And so I'm just, I guess, I don't know, asking for thoughts.
I don't think one is necessarily that much better than the other. We're definitely not out of the woods, and he may pass away.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if he's going to survive either way.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's definitely still guarded.
I'm actually looking at the weather forecast too. You know, it's supposed to be rainy today. While I think there's advantages to getting him with mom, I think there's more options if he stays there. I'm inclined to say if we could keep him there for a bit and see how he continues to do.
I'll check in with you kind of midday.
That sounds good.
All right.
All right, I really appreciate it. Thanks, doctor. So I was finishing up my chores this morning, and as you guys heard, it looks like Elliott made it through the night, which is super, super good. I was fully expecting to get a call first thing this morning, having him be dead. But he's definitely not out of the woods. As you also just heard there, I'm confronted with this choice of either bringing him back to his mom and having him be with her and hoping that she does some magic and
he kind of makes a turn, or I keep him over there and see how he recovers over the next, I don't know, 6-8 hours. And wasn't exactly sure which is the right call. I'm making the call to keep him there, both because the weather does not look good over the next 24 hours. And so that doesn't do him any favors. And also if he needs additional medications or they detect something while he's there, there's more options versus if I bring him all the way back out here again, it kind of is what it is. And so, yeah, I don't know. I don't feel great about this choice, but we'll see how he does over the course of today.
I know, Annie. I'm worried about him too. I just hope I made the right choice. So Elliott Smith made it through another night. He's still not fully bouncing back, but the signs that the vet are seeing do suggest that he might be getting a little bit better. They've been doing blood work, fecal scans, like doing everything they possibly can to kind of test and figure out what might be wrong with them. Release the Kraken! And to the best of their understanding, he's got probably some sort of virus. They're not exactly sure which one, but regardless, they kind of have to treat it the same way. Just making sure that he's getting plenty of fluids in the form of an IV, as well as making sure that he's got like plenty of milk in a bottle. And so they're doing that to take care of him. And all I can do is turn my attention to the farm and keep working around here. Don't fight me. Don't do that. This is why I have to wear gloves. Rise and dried, weirdo. Elliott's mom, Anne, was crying a lot over the last 24 hours, but she's starting to cry a lot less. The one thing that's going to probably happen is in the next couple of days, she'll slow down her milk production, and he will probably have to be bottle fed if he does come back to the farm. And that really is a big if. That's if he makes it, which I don't know. I'm very concerned about that right now. Trying to get some fresh water, girl? Hey, Pablo. Good to see you, buddy. Oh, you're not attacking me today. Thank you. Now, I know there's going to be some folks watching this video and saying, what the heck is this guy doing, taking a steer calf and investing veterinary dollars on him like this and putting so much energy and effort into it all?
No real farmer would do that.
And the truth of the matter is, those folks do kind of have a point. I don't know. I feel very, very lucky and genuinely privileged to be in a situation where I can invest the veterinary care in him and recognize that it might hurt the profits of the farm, but it's me trying to make sure that the ethos of the farm stays consistent, that this is a farm that's both good for people as well as good for animals. And making sure a calf like that has a chance is something I'm willing to invest some money into. And so that's why I'm going through this extra effort. And I will admit that there's also a slightly more selfish reason in it all as well. You know, not exactly being sure what's wrong with him does have me worried and watchful for the other 3 calves that we have here at the farm. You know, they're all about a week younger than Elliott Smith is. And I want to make sure that they all avoid any potential sickness. And if they do get sick, I know exactly what it is. And so we can make sure that it gets addressed as quickly as possible. And so while I'm doing all of my very best to make sure Elliott Smith has a fighting chance, there is a broader benefit to the herd to make sure that we figure out what's going on as well. It's now been roughly 48 hours since I took my calf, Elliott Smith, to the vet, and I was very worried that he was not going to make it through the night, but he made it through that first night. They continued to nurse him back to health, put him on heavy fluids, gave him some other treatments, and he made it through last night too. And this morning, he really made a big turnaround. You know, I just got off the phone with the vet and they said that he's been jumping around, full of energy, back to looking like a normal calf. And so I'm super excited, and I'm now rushing back to the vet to pick him up so that I can bring him back to the farm and attempt to reunite him with his mom. Now, if this was only a 12 or
24-hour separation, I wouldn't be too worried about it. But now that it's been 48 hours, I'm a little bit concerned that his mom, Anne of Green Gables, is gonna recognize him or accept him, or she might treat him weird. And so we gotta be a little bit cautious about that. Particularly at this stage of the game, you know, he's still not 100%, and making sure he's getting good food and plenty to eat and the nutrition he needs is gonna be really, really important. So I really don't know, and we're gonna have to see how this one goes. So I might have been a wee bit overly optimistic. So when the receptionist at the vet's office called me and said it was time to pick him up, she had said that he was up and running around and seemed a lot more active, and he does look a bit better than he did the other night when I brought him to the vet, but he does not look like he's out of the woods just yet. And then the other thing, based on the guidance from the vet, they're suggesting that I keep him away from the other cattle and keep him somewhere separate on the farm and not reintroduce him back to Anne of Green Gables. And I really do need to be bottle feeding him. And so I did stop off at the store and got a calf bottle, as well as some calf milk replacer, as well as some electrolytes mixes. And so I'm gonna have all the supplies I need. And it looks like I have another project on my hands.
Hello, nurse.
This will work for a very temporary impromptu shelter for him. I'll probably set the crate up like right about there. This space probably wouldn't contain my adult cattle, but given his young age and weakened state, I for a few days until I can figure out what's going on and build out a better long-term game plan for him. And I suppose bottles like this are gonna become a regular part of my life for at least the next few days, if not, I don't know, the next 2 months, I guess. All right, Elliott, come on out, buddy. Come on, Elliott. Hey, buddy. Hey, pal. Come on, buddy. Ooh, peed everywhere. You get you up? Okay, good boy. All right, you're a little wobbly. Ooh, let me get you at least a little less. Huh? No? Here you go. You're weaker than I thought you were gonna be.
How are things going since you got home?
I mean, honestly, he doesn't seem great. He really couldn't walk on his own. I built a little pen in the lean-to of our barn and kind of got him set up with some straw in there. I tried to give him a bottle. He got a little bit before just kind of giving up.
I would, whenever you get free time, you're just trying to get him up on his feet and moving about.
So what is it? Like, do you guys have any kind of theories?
A lot of times, it's like a little viral thing that for whatever reason, some are more susceptible to the others. You're right, and I would just be careful exposing him to the others at this stage.
I'm just going to keep him separate until I see him really turn a corner.
Yeah, and if you're seeing him take a turn for the worse, definitely let us know. Absolutely have you bring him back in. All right.
Thanks so much. Thanks a lot. I really appreciate it.
Okay, let's have some more.
A little fuzzy calfling that you could feed and pet.
I love that I have quality time with him.
Yeah.
Okay, baby. Here.
Hey, Ginny, you just moving in there, huh?
She loves your house. She's like, this is my opportunity to spend time with the cow, too.
I used to have somebody to keep him company.
Oh.
Your posture is very poor, but that's where he's just so weak. Like
Oh, I'm really proud of him, though. He's doing such a good job. Okay, if you need a break, that's okay. I could tell you're having a hard time, aren't you?
I know, he's perking up even more so than even this afternoon. He's looking really good.
He seems less tired and he's not having to take as many breaks.
Yeah, that's really good.
Let's see how he does tomorrow morning.
Good morning, baby Elliott. How are you doing this morning, buddy? Come on, buddy.
Up you go.
Boy, Doc, can I get you standing up?
All right, you don't have to stand up. I'll just let you drink.